Grace, how are you feeling right now? Because obviously you can't stand Boris Johnson. Are you presumably want him gone?
I don't feel that much better about most members of the Conservative Party, to be honest. And I think what Tom was just saying is it's interesting and it's true. You know, I am not 100% sure which way it will go. It obviously does seem very close, perhaps closer than we would have thought earlier in the day. But 2 weeks ago, I think it was, you and I were sitting in this studio, we were discussing the Sue Gray report, and I think you asked me whether or not I thought that Boris Johnson was going to go, and I said he should go, but I don't think that he will go. You know, I don't think that he really knows what accountability means. I think that he basically has been, you know, spent his career in environments where he's been able to get through anything.
Well, if he loses tonight, and it's interesting, only 157 or so Tory MPs have publicly declared their support. That's at least 20 fewer than at the same stage with Theresa May. So whether that's significant or not, we don't know, because we can't really trust them all. But that is a pretty worrying indicator, I would say, if you're 10 Downing Street tonight.
Yeah, and what Tom was just saying about how there's no clear leader in place is a really important point. And what Kate was saying about how most of these MPs see their relationship with Boris Johnson as transactional, obviously that's true for, you know, most any MP generally and their political leader. The issue is that transaction goes both ways. You know, yes, you know, they need Boris Johnson and Boris Johnson also needs them. The question that they have to then be asking is what's going to happen when Boris Johnson goes. And as of the last election, the Conservative Party has been in this state of, you know, division, basically, between a group of MPs who believe it's their job to fight for the soul of the Conservative Party as this kind of free market, small state, austerity-driven project, and those who think, oh, actually, we need to kind of lose a little bit of that and go back to, you know, perhaps some more investment, get rid of all this austerity baggage and fight lots of culture wars in order to broaden our coalition. Those two groups are going to go at each other in a very, very fierce way, regardless of what happens in this contest. Right,
I mean, we saw it today, Isabel, with Nadine Dorries immediately getting into a massive public spat with Jeremy Hunt, raising some good points, I have to say, in her tweet storm about his own record as Health Secretary in failing to prepare the country properly for a pandemic. But it was open civil war erupting on social media, right at the heart of the Conservative Party. This is going to be the problem for whoever tries to take over. You've got to somehow bring all these factions together, and you've got to still maintain the Remain Leave kind of, you know, cliques that are going on. It's not easy. You've got a potential recession, certainly surging inflation to deal with. This is a bit of a hospital pass.
It almost always is, though, isn't it? I mean, you mentioned the Brexit thing, which we all wished that we'd kind of left behind. But you're absolutely right. That is now going to become a real problem. You know, we've already seen one of Boris Johnson's greatest critics, Tobias Ellwood, runs the Defence Select Committee, reopening the question of whether or not the UK should rejoin the single market. Now, I thought his timing on that was a little bit dangerous, given his agenda is to remove Boris. Don't now bring in the Brexit thing, because it allows Downing Street to try to argue that, you know, this is all a big plot to unravel Brexit. Jeremy Hunt, one of the key rebels, also a big Remainer. And I think that will, annoyingly, for everybody who just wishes that we, you know, this question had been resolved and parked, this is all going to bubble up again.
Yeah. Sharon, what do you make of this? Because at the heart of it, really, is Boris Johnson and his staff at Downing Street going partying, breaking brazenly their own laws, which everybody else had to follow. And the reason I think it's cut through so powerfully with the public is that so many of them were not allowed to go and see dying relatives in hospital. I know people, including some in my family, who couldn't go and see people as they died from COVID in hospital. And then to find out that people making these laws were basically on the lash every week.
Well, it was like Caligula at number 10.
Right.
You know, puking, throwing wine up the wall. God only knows what was going on. But the thing is, he lied. He lied, and surely somebody in his position knows truth will always come out. No matter how long it takes, it always comes out and you look worse. So own it. That was his big mistake.
Well, the problem with Boris
is... just owned it.
The trouble with Boris is he's lied through his entire career as a journalist and politician, and he's always seemed to fail upwards. So he got fired from the Times for inventing quotes. He got fired, you know, under Michael Howard for lying about an affair. And each time he's then become London mayor and then he's become Prime Minister. So the message he gets to himself is actually lying doesn't matter. And I think that's what's brought him down here.
That's the past. And the thing is, yes, he's quirky and he's this funny little character that England loved for a while. You know, he's this funny little guy. But the thing is, the guy has no vision. What's the vision of the Conservative Party? Where's it going?
And does he have any?
What's his long-term
Also, call me
forecast
old-fashioned,
for
but
this country?
but don't we also want integrity in our Prime Ministers?
Well, of course we do, but come on, we're living in the real world here. Everybody...
Is it too much to ask?
Yes, everybody lies. Everybody does what they have to do for power. We all know what goes on behind the doors, but the thing is, the situation that this country is in right now, do you take the devil you know or the devil you don't know? Look, he's not going to last long term. I would keep that nutter in. No, I would. I would keep him in until...
Go on.
I would keep him in until there's a long-term plan for this country. What are they going to do about the economy? What are they going to do about the war?
The issue, I think, is once trust is broken with the British people, very hard to then trust that person.
I'd use him. I would just use him.
But to tell us how he's going to rescue the country.
If I was a Conservative MP, I would keep him in as well. And the thing that I would be thinking as a Conservative MP would be, let Boris fight the next election, probably lose, OK, but it will be a hung parliament. It won't be, there won't be a kind of stable government for particularly long. The Conservative Party get their brief period out of office, they get to sort their stuff out, they get to find a new leader, and they get to decide what their vision is.
Let's take another look.